Waluigi, the original idea. A character who was created mainly to be the partner for his brother, cousin, friend, I don't know. But basically, his tag partner in any sport, party, or racing event. When he first came out, he was one of the most divisive Mario characters in the franchise, with some people absolutely loving him and some people absolutely despising him, while Nintendo and critics remaining more or less indifferent towards him. Despite this, however, 20 plus years later after his debut, and his popularity is soaring tremendously thanks to the memes and battle cries of him in a mainline Mario game or in the next Super Smash Bros. Game. Through those two variables, combined with other variables as well, that he has become one of the most beloved Mario characters of all time, leaving most Nintendo stores empty anytime there's a plush or an emoji of him around. Which begs the question that many people have always wondered. Why hasn't Waluigi been in a main storyline Mario game yet, or let alone have his own game yet? Does Nintendo even like him? We're gonna find out in this video that I created for you guys today. Hey everyone, it's your boy Sly Lancy, and today we'll be having a discussion on one of Nintendo's most controversial characters of all time, the tall, purple-hatted, dancing, lanky freak, Waluigi. Okay, so have you ever had or seen a set of twin brothers that everybody loves so much, but they have this annoying cousin, let's call him, that no one can stand but can tolerate? Well, now imagine that all of a sudden, out of nowhere, that cousin has a brother, cousin, friend, whatever, that he never talks about. But when this tennis tournament comes rolling around and everybody needs to find a doubles partner, he finally decides to bring him out. But as it turns out, no one else likes his cousin's brother or takes him seriously, much to the chagrin and anger of the cousin's brother. Despite this, he's still invited to these events because, unlike the real enemy of the franchise, he's not as disliked, he's just not taken seriously, becoming basically Nintendo's version of the Toilinator from Kids Next Door, or Scrappy-Doo from the Scooby-Doo franchise. Okay, I'm rambling on here, but I'm pretty sure you guys get the point at this point. While that's not exactly how the lore tells it, this is basically how Waluigi's origins is. Waluigi's conception was purely out of convenience rather than originality. You see, back in the year Y2K, Nintendo had partnered with Camelot to make a set of Mario spin-off games for the next set of years. The first game in this lineup would be Mario Tennis 64. The lineup in this game would have the obvious mains like Mario, Luigi, Peach, Yoshi, DK, Wario, Bowser, but they needed some side characters as well. So Nintendo and Camelot dug deep into their catalog to bring back some old characters from previous Mario games like Daisy to serve as Peach's partner obviously, and even Birdo to serve as Yoshi's partner. So while most Mario characters had a designated partner like Mario, Luigi, Peach, Daisy, even Bowser and Boo, there was one character that didn't have a true designated partner, and that was Wario. This gap and idea of who could be Wario's partner interested Camelot so much that they decided to create a whole new character that Wario could team up with, someone that could complement Wario's power and, basically his rivalry with the Mario brothers. So, they came across an idea which in retrospect probably wasn't original, but in the terms of it making sense in the Mario lore and Mario canon, worked like a charm. They came across the idea that since Wario was created initially to be Mario's rival, let's create a rival for Luigi to be Wario's partner. So the idea of an exaggerated version of Wario and Luigi combined, or in this case, a bad Luigi. So after a few drafts and sketches, Camelot employee Fumihide Aku, I think I said his name right, forgive me if I messed up his name, came up with a character based on Wario's design principle as an evil twisted version of his counterpart, a tall and lanky plumber with a pointy chin, a W-shaped mustache, a large pink nose, a wide permanent grin with blocky teeth, and bags under his eyes. He has a high-pitched nasal voice, he is the same age, about the same age as Luigi, but he would wear black overalls, white gloves, orange elf shoes, a purple shirt, and a purple hat with an upside down yellow L on it, which I don't care what anybody says, it's a super cool concept regardless of how some people may feel about it. And obviously, wanted him to be the bad version of Luigi, they used the Japanese term of bad, which is Wari, so they just took the first two letters of Wari and placed it in front of Luigi. And thus, Waluigi was born. So while Nintendo wasn't jumping out of their shoes completely with this newly created character, they still gave Camelot the okay, much to their elation, and Waluigi would debut in Mario Tennis 64. In the introduction of this game, Mario and company are all playing in this tennis tournament, with the two shadow figures in the background watching on, probably jealous of the fact that they weren't even invited or considered being invited. And just when the finals is about to start between Mario and Luigi, everyone is interrupted by these shadowy figures, Wario and Waluigi. They both want to play, with Waluigi being the most excited of the two, because this is obviously his first appearance in any of these Mario games. But Luigi mocks the both of them, but mainly Waluigi, because he says he's not scared or impressed by Waluigi. This angers Waluigi so much so that he has a stare down, an intense stare down with Luigi, with Mario and Wario both joining. And just because the situation calls for it, they're all interrupted by Bowser. Now, even though it turns out Bowser just wants to destroy the Mario Brothers, he actually wants to play tennis with them. So Mario allows everyone to play together, much to the delight of everyone, before being blown up by a bomb. So while this cutscene is very heartwarming to watch, this intro would prove very fatal for Waluigi. Critics absolutely hated his addition in the game, citing his lack of personality and originality, while some fans were, let's just say, a bit indifferent towards him. And I think what also didn't help was the fact that Luigi, someone who was known for being cowardly, wasn't even scared of Waluigi himself, and made Waddles out to be a complete joke and punching bag in this franchise. Waluigi was definitely someone that if you liked him in his first appearance, you had to be on the low because you didn't want to be made fun of at school or work. Waluigi could have easily gotten the Scrappy Doo treatment after this. He could have easily been tossed into Nintendo's trash can or placed on the old video game shelf for old video game heads to reminisce on what he could have been. But luckily, he had one more chance to show his worth to the franchise. Coincidentally, Nintendo and Camelot were working on another Mario spin-off game at the same exact time they were working on the tennis game, Mario Party 3. Had this game not been halfway through production by the time Mario Tennis came out, Waluigi would have definitely never saw the light of day again. A very scary reality indeed. But luckily, Mario Party needed more characters added to their roster as well, and this game would prove much more beneficial for Waluigi's character development. In this game, Waluigi would steal the Mischief Star while goading the player, Luigi probably, into stealing it back from him. The player would embark on a journey on Waluigi's board to do so, known as Waluigi's Island. And to make matters even worse for the player, Waluigi would steal Luigi's land and blow up his house in the process. Another crucial moment in this game that helped Waluigi's character is where Bowser and Waluigi get into this argument, which led into a full-scale brawl, which Waluigi surprisingly won by stomping out Bowser with one foot. This was the moment that showed some fans that Waluigi was not to be toyed with, regardless if he didn't have the same powers like the rest of the cast. Mario Party 3 helped Waluigi tremendously in the eyes of fans and some critics, maybe even made Nintendo turn their head a bit. Camelot was proven to everyone that Waluigi had something going for him. So after a few more additions in the games between 2001 and 2002, this Purple Plumber was slowly developing a cult following. Then starting from 2003 to about 2007-2008, we would get what I call the GameCube era for Mario games. During this time period, Camelot would develop a bunch of intro skits before playing the actual game itself in a lot of these Mario spin-off games. And a lot of these spin-off games, including Wario and Waluigi, who would always be featured in these intro skits, trying to one-up the Mario Brothers any chance they get, only to be foiled by the red and green duo themselves, Bowser, or their own bad luck. The games that would feature these intro skits would be Mario Kart Double Dash, which was my very first introduction to Waluigi, Mario Power Tennis, Mario Superstar Baseball, and Mario Golf. These games would all slowly increase Waluigi's popularity, and also test his status as what he truly was in the Mario franchise. Because aside from being the main antagonist of Mario Dance Dance Revolution, Waluigi to me has more or less been an anti-hero throughout the series, someone who does things for selfish gain rather than a moral compass. Plus you add in the factor of his rivalry with Luigi, and it's just like, you know, he really fits the description of an anti-hero in my personal opinion, but I'll talk about that later. So ever since his first appearance, he's made over 40 plus Mario spin-off games, but has yet to qualify for Smash Brothers or a mainline Mario game, or even have his own game. So what's the deal? Well, like I stated earlier, Waluigi's reception has been more or less mixed. You had people who loved him and people who hated him. And those who hate him were always going to hate him more with each time he was coming out in a new spin-off game. A character who, despite being a loser and failing at nearly everything in life, Nintendo and Camelot refused to kill off because of his convenience in the spin-off games. And it was through this convenience, I think, that Nintendo indirectly gave Waluigi one of the deepest lores and most interesting lores in the Mario franchise. Okay, so we're gonna backtrack a bit and go back to that question about Waluigi's status in the Mario franchise, because like I said literally a sentence or two ago, Waluigi has one of the most interesting lores in the franchise because there's literally so much you can do with it, or so much you can speculate with it. So what's the deal? Is Waluigi a good guy, a bad guy, or an anti-hero? Now, while Waluigi is a constant antagonizer of other Mario Brothers, specifically Luigi, he's not overtly evil or as overtly evil as someone like Bowser. He's just someone who's jealous of how much more popular and well-liked Luigi is compared to himself. As the former VA of Waluigi, now Nintendo's ambassador Charles Martini said, Waluigi's character is someone who has a lot of self-pity and will cheat to win because he feels others have cheated him. What adds to this statement are the celebrations that Waluigi has when he loses. So, Waluigi would sulk when he's on the receiving end of a loss, constantly saying that, oh, everybody cheated. Even though the irony of that is that he actually tried cheating to win. His motives, along with his design and personality, give you the vibe that he's basically like Dick Dastardly in a way from Wacky Racers to any of my cartoon connoisseurs out there. Waluigi was created to be the complete opposite of Luigi. Luigi's character was someone who was timid and shy of certain things, but will act out in bravery for a selfless cause. Waluigi is boastful and ill-tempered, only looking out for himself and his desires. And even though it's rare, he will attempt to help someone if his desires align with theirs. As seen in, games like Mario Super Sluggers and Mario and Sonic at the Winter Olympic Games for DS, for anyone who played the adventure tours of that. So, again, this goes into my belief that Waluigi to me is more so an anti-hero rather than a straight-up villain. But that's just my personal take on it. Unlike his counterparts, Waluigi wasn't like born with special capabilities. He wasn't like Mario, Luigi, Peach, or Wario where they were all like star-born children with special capabilities. Waluigi's capabilities instead had to come either through pure hard work or he had to learn how to cheat the system to his advantage. He's been shown to not only be very, very skilled at tennis, which is obviously where he originated from, but he's also shown to have water-bending capabilities as seen in tennis and basketball, which leads me to believe that if he is a star-born child, that he has water capabilities, or the dude must have learned how to bend water in his spare time to combat Mario and Luigi's fireballs. Either way. Plus, he has highly strong and durable legs, which has been seen in Mario Dance Revolution 3 and Mario Party 3, where the dude single-handedly defeated Bowser by stomping him out with one foot. You can even say that Waluigi is also highly intelligent as well, being able to craft different plans and schemes with Wario, and if it wasn't for his boastful nature, he probably would have succeeded half the time. And despite some claims, Waluigi is actually very, very skilled at sports, being a technique type in nearly every sports game he's in. And to anyone to think that they have the edge on him in a sport,
too bad. Waluigi time.
The only reason I think that people get on Waluigi about him not actually being really good at sports is because he tends to crack under pressure. Any amount of pressure that's thrown his way, he will falter and fail. Like the harder he tries, the more he fails, which is irony at its finest. The one person who talks the most trash is the one who can't back it up the most. And another technique I want to add that I think gets often overlooked for Waluigi is his ability to sway people sometimes. It doesn't happen a lot, but I've seen a couple occasions where Waluigi will like pull the wool over a lot of people's eyes, which again goes into his craftiness. You know, like I remember seeing in Mario Adventure Tours that Waluigi was able to, you know, get a shy guy to crack under pressure and get him to talk about a secret location that he was hiding. Waluigi definitely has, like, to any of my Sly Cooper fans out there, he has like this gentleman thief's kind of like vibe, which I think would work great for him if he's ever in a mainline Mario game or ever gets his own game. Now we start to get into the intricate plot of the video, where we talk about how Waluigi may not just be, you know, some megalomaniac, but rather an ill-tempered person who hates himself on the inside. As the title of this chapter says, from loathed to love, I can see, you know, it's hard to pinpoint exactly where Waluigi's, where Waluigi's cult following began growing and growing the way it did, but I think we can pinpoint some areas. So, I think where the beauty lies for Waluigi for a lot of people is why he became so popular with fans over the years. Waluigi represents a crowd of fans that feels underappreciated just as much as Waluigi does in his own universe. You know, he's considered a normal person by many who wasn't like born with special capabilities, which I think is a lot of people in today's world. A lot of people want to feel special, but at the same time, you know, you feel like you're just one in an entire crowd, you know, like as as this old quote goes out for Waluigi, you're a reflection of a reflection of a reflection. So it's hard to feel special or stand out to people the way you do, but you still want to feel special. You still want to feel like, you know, you have some type of importance in the world somehow. But I'm getting a bit too deep into this, so let's go back a bit. Yeah, so Waluigi, you know, he wasn't born as a star child like his contemporaries were. You know, he gets overshadowed a lot by his contemporaries due to his lack of powers and capabilities, you know. Again, Mario, Luigi, Peach, and even Wario are all starborn children, so it's like, what's Waluigi's purpose anyway? He wasn't starborn like the rest of them. So obviously, this led to lifelong self-pity and jealousy for others who were granted gifts from the start, as to where Waluigi was just another normal person that no one really cared about until the moment he put on the plumber outfit and started acting like a jerk to everyone. And plus his sheer determination to become good at sports and any spin-off games that happens in the Mario franchise has made Waluigi one of the best, if not the best technique character right next to Princess Peach. This also gives me the idea that he has a perfectionist mindset like Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, or even someone like Jimmy Butler, people who many consider jokes because of how serious and determined they are to prove themselves to everyone, but through all the trials and tribulations they went through, they proved to everyone that they were superstars. But in Waluigi's case, you know, he still has yet to like earn like Nintendo's okay.
Oh man, Waluigi time!
Oh. Did I forget to mention about that catchphrase? Yeah, if you never heard this catchphrase before, I don't know what you're doing with your life. This catchphrase has not only become synonymous with the Mario franchise, but it's become synonymous with pop culture in general. Anytime someone thinks they have the edge in life or an edge over someone,
oh man, Waluigi time!
You just cue that catchphrase and just watch everybody laugh their ass off at it. Aside from the obvious ones like Mamma Mia or Yahoo for me, Waluigi time has to be one of the most over catchphrases in the entire Mario community. Another thing that I think has grown on people about Waluigi is, you know, just how much potential and how much lore this dude could really have if Nintendo actually gave him a chance. I have no doubt in my mind that Camelot would definitely go down that path for Waluigi, but Nintendo has to give the okay. And I just don't think, you know, Nintendo is willing to give Waluigi that chance. They just think that he's popular because he's an internet meme, which, yes, he is probably one of the greatest internet memes ever. But yeah, there's literally so much you can do with Waluigi. And in fact, so much you can do with Waluigi that this is actually the very next topic of the video. Now, this has been one of the most heated and debated topics in the Mario community by Waluigi stans and just regular fans of the Mario franchise. But can a Waluigi video game work? You know, this has been such a debated and heated topic in the Mario community, And it's like, because you obviously gonna have your detractors, the ones who hated Waluigi from the start, and then you have the die-hard fan base. I mean, die-hard fan base that will literally buy like 5 copies of the game just to boost the sales of the game. But yeah, this is a topic that I think is very interesting. Can a Waluigi game work? So, we're gonna do both sides of the coins as to why I think yes and no, Waluigi's game could work. So, could a Waluigi game work? Yes. My reasons for yes is because, one, how passionate the fan base is. Listen, everywhere you see on the internet with Mario in the title, Waluigi is in some capacity somewhere. If you just go to DeviantArt and type in Waluigi, man has more fan arts than I think any other character combined, I think. Maybe not combined, but he has a lot of fan arts, whether it be through shipping or through people just drawing him in a very particular manner. Not gonna say what manner, but yeah. Reason number 2, limitless potential. Again, what does Waluigi have to go off of except the fact that he's just a side character to Wario? There's so much you can do with Waluigi's story. Different ideas you can have, you know, like why does he and Daisy have such a rocky relationship? Did Waluigi used to date Daisy before, you know, Waluigi ditched her and Mario had to save her in the first game Daisy appeared in? Or, you know, like, is Waluigi just, you know, Wario's brother, Wario's cousin, Wario's lackey? Or is Waluigi just his own person who doesn't have anything to do with the franchise and just, you know, is just out on his own, but then he gets a call from Wario or something? Again, there is so much you can do with Waluigi's lore and story if Nintendo actually gave a care about Waluigi. Reason number 3 also, the risk-reward ratio is very, very low. Like, I can understand Nintendo being very, very strict about their IP because the copyright laws in Japan are different than they are in America, you know? And how, like, they're very sensitive to do anything. They just rather stay with the same formula if it's worked every single time. But, again, that's why I think a Waluigi game would work. Waluigi, you could do anything with this dude. You know, you can make him an RPG game, see how that works. You know, you can try to do, like, you know, a spin-off side scroller or something. Anything could work for Waluigi, and the best part is you don't have to invest too much into it. It could be the simplest game possible, and if people like it, they will buy it. It's not like Waluigi, you know, is gonna make or break the Mario franchise. It's not. Mario is the most popular character by far, easily, along with Luigi and the princesses and Bowser. But again, that's why the risk-reward ratio is low. What does Waluigi have to lose, except the fans who are gonna love him regardless, and the fans who already hate him or don't like him anyway? Just give it a shot. So, those are my particular reasons as to why I think Waluigi should have his own game. Now, the reasons why I don't think a Waluigi game would work is I have 4 reasons as to why. 1, his fandom size. Now, don't get me wrong, Waluigi's fanbase is very, very passionate, but it is a relatively smaller fanbase compared to other characters. Even if his fanbase is very loud about it, it's not like, you know, it's not like the size of what a Mario, Luigi, or Peach, or Yoshi fanbase. Heck, even Wario, because Wario has a strong fanbase too, you know. So I can see why Nintendo would still be very, like, indifferent towards the idea of a Waluigi game, because, you know, Waluigi's fanbase is relatively big, but not like compared to some of the other IPs in the franchise. Reason number 2, he's just an internet meme. This one's pretty self-explanatory. Like, if you're popular because the internet made you popular, then, you know, maybe that may not translate to sales, but, you know, it's as as stupid as that sounds, that is the case sometimes, where, like, the internet hypes you up because you're a joke, not really because you're popular, which is the case for Waluigi at times, that he is just a popular joke, not really like someone to take seriously. It is very saddening, but I can see why that would be another reason why a Waluigi game would work. Number 3, Nintendo playing it safe. This goes back to the risk-reward ratio point in my reason why it would work. But yeah, Nintendo is very careful about their IPs and who they lend them to. So obviously, you know, even if I believe the risk-reward ratio is low, that doesn't mean Nintendo's gonna try to test that. You know, why fix something that isn't broken? You know. And reason number 4, can he carry a game by himself? Yes, I believe he can, but Nintendo probably doesn't think he could, which again goes back to the risk reward ratio is very low, you know. But again, why bother to fix something that isn't broken? So again, yeah, these are just my reasonings for why Waluigi game could or couldn't work. Okay, so this topic will be the very last topic before we get into the conclusion of the video, and this topic basically ties into the last one about, like, you know, can a Waluigi game work, yes or no? And we're gonna go more into the no side and why I think, you know, Waluigi probably will never see the light of day or get his own, you know, game or respect or even appear in a mainline Mario game. Here are my reasonings as to why I think it would or wouldn't work. So yeah, the theories behind Waluigi's stance in Nintendo is 1. Nintendo doesn't like him. This is easily the most popular belief and the one that fans most desperately believe the most, which I also semi-agree with, but also, you know, don't completely agree with. While part of that may be true, and why I think Nintendo doesn't really care for him as much, I do believe there's more to it. Besides, if Nintendo really hated Waluigi, they would have stopped using him after the first or even second appearance, so why not kill him off or just stop using him? Number 2, Waluigi's purpose. Nintendo, I firmly believe, just sees Waluigi as a side character, nothing more, nothing less. You know, he's just meant to be there to add more characters to the spin-off games and give fans, you know, extra human characters to play as if they wanted more human characters. So, you know, despite the twins having multiple games to their name and even his buddy Wario having multiple games under his belt, Waluigi has become the lone wolf or the main four when it comes to material, doomed to be stuck in his middle class status forever. Which leads me to my third reason. Number 3, Nintendo doesn't believe he'll sell. I saw a theory of this in a couple of fans and potentially haters, I'm not sure, but Nintendo treats, you know, their IPs like the WWE, in which they want to push certain characters more than they do others because they believe certain ones won't sell. Because at the end of the day, it's about money at this point. It really is about money. And it's probably one of the reasons why Daisy took so long to get her own game or even appear in a mainline Mario game. Thank goodness Mario Wonder changed all that. But yeah, you know, it's like the idea that some characters believe, you know, Nintendo will not sell as much as the others, so why bother caring at all, you know? Even though I know for a fact that Camelot cares deeply about Waluigi, Nintendo obviously doesn't care as much. They obviously care because he's one of their IPs now, but, you know, and it doesn't change the fact that, you know, Waluigi, at the end of the day, he's not going to gain the attention that Mario or Luigi or Peach is going to get, or even Bowser. You know, he's just not that popular compared to other characters, despite his loud, very loud fan base. These are just theories added on to why I think Waluigi's in such a purgatory with Nintendo right now. They may not be real, but they, you know, I'd like to think this is the reason why Waluigi's stuck in his purgatory status. So, despite all that we just discussed and talked about, what's the main conclusion to Waluigi? Waluigi is without a doubt one of the most unique characters in video game history. Despite being ingrained in one of the biggest video game franchises, he may never truly be understood by others. Aside from a few unlockables and skins, he'll probably never be part of a mainline Mario game, let alone his own game, or even in the Smash series. But at least we have the spin-offs to play, and the fans who will always love and appreciate him, crafting fan comics, games, and even merch for the Purple Plumber. He may be a loser, but he's a lovable loser at that, and someone I think a lot of people can relate to when they feel misjudged, not taken seriously, or cheated in life. He's an internet meme, a charismatic dancer, a lovable loser, a gentleman's thief, the Purple Plumber, Waluigi. Hey guys, just want to thank you so much for getting through this video. If you made it to the very end, I just wanted to talk about something that could potentially be in the works, but I need enough support to do it. So basically guys, I have this idea of a fan game for Waluigi called Waluigi's Casino. Now, I wanted to work on this game idea for a while, but I'm very nervous because obviously we know Nintendo's very stingy about, you know, fan games. But considering how they feel about Waluigi, there's a chance that they may not care enough to take it down. But again, I'll leave that decision up to you guys. If you guys want to see this game happen or not, just let me know in the comment section down below. And As always, guys, thank you so much for tuning into my videos every single day. I love everyone. Thank you always. And I'll see you guys in the next video that we do. See you guys next time.